an attempt to save the princess yet again, Link leaves Windfall Island and travels 25 miles on a bearing of north 42 degrees east. Realizes he's going the wrong way, he turns his boat on a new bearing. We're going to assume that Link's boat can turn on a dime. So none of this curving turn thing there. If not, then we wouldn't have a right angle. So, oops. We'll do what we can. Part A, how far is the boat from the island? Well, before we can do part A, what's the very first thing we should do?
Draw a picture.
Draw a picture. We're going to do the picture together because this is pretty much brand new for everyone. All right, let's draw a picture. I would suggest starting somewhere down here. You'll see why in a second. So these axes are not necessarily the north, are not the XY axes. They're going to be your cardinal axes, north, south, east, west. So assuming this point here represents the island, then he first travels north 42 degrees east. So starting from north, leaning towards the east 42 degrees, something about right there. So that angle right there is 42 degrees. And how far does he travel on this? 25 miles. But for some other point, 25 miles later, he realizes he's going the wrong way. Anytime there's a new bearing, you have a new set of axes. So now he's going to travel south 48 degrees east. So in this heading, first facing south, now leaning towards east. This angle right here is 48 degrees. And he does this for 15 miles. So in part A, the question is, how far is he from the island? Well, his boat's right here. So we're asking for this distance right here. The comment I want to make is, it is completely possible my drawing is incorrect in a sense of, notice if I were to continue this original axis here, it would appear that we were in the first quadrant, because it would be above the horizontal there. But my measurement as far as if that's 25 and this is 15, that could be totally wrong as far as it's not proportional. So he could be in the fourth quadrant. That's going to be something to worry about, especially when we hit part B. It's an approximation at best for right now. But the main question again is, how long is this dotted line for, how long is the dotted line period? Well, the picture is sort of incomplete. We do have two sides of a triangle, 25 and 15. Well, there's something else that we need to have in this chapter especially.
Angle.
Which angle? A very specific angle. A right angle.
Oh, yes.
So remember, everything in chapter 6, there's got to be a right angle because we don't know how to do anything else otherwise. Why do we have a right angle?
Because
No.
Okay, so since the north 42 degrees east,
Yeah.
if the second axis is parallel with the first axis, then it should add up to 90 degrees on the northernmost corner. I'm not sure that I phrased that properly.
There is a math term that we need here. No, not that one. A new math term. A new geometry term. So what he is saying is, since this line, oh, that's better, is parallel to this line, since we cut it with this line here, that makes this angle the same as this angle. What is that called? One more time? Alternating interior angles. Woo! So because of our friend alternating interior angles, those are both 42 degrees. You're going to be using alternating interior angles a lot. So if you get stumped and forget how to do something on a test, just write alternating interior. It might be the answer. Actually, it will never be the answer. I'll never ask that question. So don't get stumped on a test. But what's the benefit now? What's 42 plus 48 in most countries? 90. So now we have a right triangle. So basically, the picture for part A is there's 25, there's 15. Happy day. What are we trying to find of that right triangle? The hypotenuse. So if we have two sides of a right triangle, how do we figure out the other side? Pythagorean Theorem. Fantastic. If you would, please use your friendly Pythagorean Theorem to find out the hypotenuse. And fun fact, I've never played this game.
Seriously?
Yeah. I asked a friend, I'm like, what's the name of an island in Zelda? If you played one, you've played them all.
Yeah.
I played Minish Cap. I like that one. So assuming that we call the hypotenuse x, then x would be the square root of 25 squared plus 15 squared. Oops. Sorry about that. So what is this approximately rounded to 2 decimal places?
49.15.
Did anyone else get that? Yeah? So 29.15 miles. Awesome. So part B, what is the bearing from Windfall Island to the boat? So if you're on Windfall Island, what direction would you turn to look right at the boat? So according to the picture, we want this angle now. So where it goes from the due north, assuming that it's in the first quadrant, that's where the quadrants come into play, to the dotted line. How are we going to do that?
By taking the tangent of that particular angle.
What do you want to call that angle?
Huh?
What do you want to call it?
Beta.
That's fine. So why'd you pick tangent?
Because we have the. We have the.
You're right.
Wait, we have the adjacent and the opposite, but we don't want to use the hypotenuse because that is estimation.
Correct. So it's best to use tangent. Good. So if we use tangent, we'll be using the 15 and the 25. So let's start off there. Is the orange? Can everyone read the orange? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the setup? Tangent of beta is what? Someone else. Good. So that means that beta is equal to the what? Good. And what is this approximately to 2 decimal places? I'm sorry, what'd you get? 30.96. 30.96. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. So is that the answer? Nope, because
We do not have the directions. What's the English term for that?
well, the bearing.
Okay.
But this is not the correct angle, though.
No.
This 30.96 is only this guy here. We want it all the way from the y-axis. We had the 42, because that was the original bearing before he went off course. So if we did 42 plus 30.96, that puts it at what, 72.96?
Yeah.
Okay. Notice this number is less than 90, so we are still in quadrant 1. Hooray! If it were bigger than 90, then what we'd have to do is switch, instead of from northeast, we'd have to go to southeast. Is everyone okay with that? So since we're still in quadrant 1, you would say north 72.96 degrees east.